Teams like the Marlins don't get much love on baseball channels, but to be fair, it's probably because their own fans also don't go to their games to show them any love. Not my words, by the way.
All my family here. Fans is not here, but we still love them.
It's easy to pile up on small market teams and ridicule their organizations, but I genuinely like the efforts the Marlins have made toward their rebuild. However, the way the Marlins lost this game gives fans a real argument not to spend their hard-earned money when it feels like they're punting away games that are more within reach. After a loss turns ugly, yeah, it's easy to play Captain Hindsight and offer surface-level criticisms. The problem with this game is it looked like there were surface-level answers. Allow me to explain in case you didn't catch a Tuesday matchup between the Reds and the Marlins. Sandy Alcantara has been nothing short of dominant to start this 2026 campaign. He's pitching like the love child of Greg Maddux and Pedro Martinez. Yes, an ungodly sight to visualize, but an otherworldly talent to behold. Fast forward to the 8th inning of Tuesday's contest, Sandy had been carving through lineups in his first 29 innings. All of this done without giving up a run, striking out 24 batters, and coming off a complete game shutout where he threw a total of 93 pitches. With all this talk of pitchers versus throwers in the modern game and max effort combined with max velocity when it comes to pitching, the possibility for complete games has become limited. With Sandy's most recent performance, as an individual player, he has tied himself with the Houston Astros pitching staff for the most complete games in the last 4 years. By the way, he missed all of 2024 with Tommy John surgery. When healthy, Alcántara has a legit argument for the best pitcher in baseball. Sandy went into the 9th inning of his start against the Reds with 83 pitches. Like the rest of the lineup, he made quick work of TJ Friedl in just 2 pitches, getting him to fly out to shallow left field. It looked like he was on pace for another complete game shutout, but he ran into a slight bit of trouble when he gave up a bleeding line drive to Matt McLain that weakly bounced into the left field corner. Sandy's only loss of command during the night was when he faced Elly De La Cruz next, walking him on 5 pitches. At this point, his pitch count is at 95. Keep in mind, the last 2 outings have been very efficient and he has not had to put too much stress on his body. Clayton McCullough bravely conjures up the remnants of Kevin Cash's soul, deciding he's seen enough.
Is he going to the bullpen, or is he going to get nose to nose with his ace? That's going to be it. And now boos rain down on Clayton McCullough.
First of all, you know it's bad when your decision can make 7,000 people boo you loud enough to sound like a stadium's worth of people. Some of you may think this manager is justified in his decision, and I'd love to hear your reasoning down in the comments. As someone who had the opportunity to tune into every pitch, Sandy was ending at bats in 2 to 3 pitches and devastating hitters with a sinking changeup that was impossible to barrel properly. Plus, the Marlins didn't have their psychopath Phillips, who's also known as the guy who likes to give himself a quick round of CTE. So the Marlins countered by bringing in neurotypical man Anthony Bender to close out the game. A couple of pitches in, Terry Francona makes an excellent call on a double steal, and the Marlins do nothing to limit the running game. McLain advances to third, Elly is now in scoring position. Bender limits the damage by getting Saul Stewart to fly out to right, but he still manages to drive in McLain for the Reds' very first run of the game. Upon his appearance, Bender had real trouble finding the zone, walking the previous batter, and on the very next pitch to Spencer Steer, he throws an errant breaking ball that can't connect with the target. Elly scores easily with his speed, and the game is all tied. The night's progress completely erased, 2 runs credited to Alcántara, and the Marlins are suddenly with their backs against the ropes. Marlins legend Tommy Hutton said what everyone was thinking out loud too.
When you take a guy out, you got to make sure the guy you bring in has better stuff, or you have more confidence in him than the guy that's out there presently. Well, what about September? How are you going to handle him when September? You know what? 8 or 10 more pitches right now to get out of this game isn't going to bother Sandy Alcantara in September at all.
When Sandy was asked how he felt about the decision to remove him, he was quoted as saying, "I think I deserve to be asked how I feel before being taken out of a game." And that's what I mean by surface level problems require surface level solutions. If your star player is telling you you're good to go, maybe you should just trust that and not over-engineer or over-manage the situation. But let's hear what Clayton McCullough had to say.
What was your message to Sandy? I'm assuming he didn't want the ball taken from him.
No, he certainly did not. And, I made that decision and, it did not work out.
Doesn't seem to matter what I do. I'm always number 2. No one knows how hard I tried.